Okay, I got it. Let's do this again.
Okay, cool. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Chapel Youth Online.
Yeah, we're continuing this trending series. Great job, Payton. Kicked us off last week. If you missed it, go back and watch that video on coping. And this week, I'm gonna continue talking about the power of our words.
Yeah, so remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel because we got big things coming.
That's right. Next week, we start an 8-week series called Grow to Go. If that sounds familiar, it's because your parents are hearing something very, very similar at both our locations in the main auditoriums. We're gonna share with you kind of God's heart for our church and for our youth group on how we can really help people meet, know, and follow Jesus on the campus, in the city, and around the world. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get out of here and Connor's gonna take over. Bye. Okay, great. That was perfect. I'm done.
We nailed it. We nailed it. Let's see, make sure it's still recording. Hey! Depending on what survey you read, we use anywhere between 7,000 to 16,000 words a day. Our lives are built around words. Some of them are words said out loud, and some of them are words that aren't even spoken, like words typed out in a text message or read in a book or posted on your social media account. Sometimes they're the thoughts in your head or words communicated through sign language. Look, words help us connect to other people. And I think that's what makes them very powerful. Especially for you in middle and high school. It's one of the few areas that you have a lot of freedom when it comes to how you're gonna do something, how you're gonna use your words. For better or for worse, you have a choice. You can choose to use pretty much any word that you want whenever you want to use them. Now, of course, there may be consequences for some of the words that we choose to use. When we call someone a name, or maybe tell a dirty joke, or make fun of someone who is different than us, or even drop a cuss word or two into a conversation, we might get into trouble or hurt someone's feelings. But at the end of the day, we still have the choice to use those words or not. We still have freedom when it comes to our words. And that begs a question. Am I using my freedom in the best way when it comes to my words? Now here's why I think this whole conversation about words is so tricky. I bet most of you are probably thinking something like this. Is this really that big of a deal? Well, we all get that there are good words and that there are bad words. And we know that there are certain things that we're just not supposed to say. But what's a bad word to one person might not be that bad to someone else. Like Thor said, all words are made up words. So who's really to say whether or not we cuss or tell a dirty joke? Is it really that big of a deal to yell names at someone that we're mad at or to sing along with song lyrics that might be offensive to someone else? I mean, if I think the words I'm saying are okay, then does it really matter what anyone else thinks? Right? Well, I think that anytime we acknowledge something has power, we need to consider how we're using that power. And in the case of our words, I don't want us to get farther away from what might be even more important. See, it's not really the words themselves that are the biggest problem. I think it's the way that we use our words that gives them power. And let me show you what I mean. I want you to read this sentence when I put it up on the screen. And to really get the full effect, I want you to read it out loud, all right? Now, how did you read that sentence? Did you read, I don't think she should get that grade? Or did you read, I don't think she should get that grade? Or did you read it like this? I don't think she should get that grade? Or what about this? I don't think she should get that grade. And look, maybe you read it completely differently than any of those scenarios, but what's fascinating to me is that you'd think that that sentence should just stand on its own and would have the same meaning no matter how you said it. But as I read that sentence over and over again, the meaning of the sentence changed. The power wasn't necessarily in the actual words that we said, it was in the way that we said them. The way we use our words changes the impact of that sentence, and it could have changed the meaning of the entire sentence. You could have read that sincerely or sarcastically. You might have read it funny or condescending, and that changes the entire thing. See, the way we use our words is super important. We have so much power when it comes to our words. The name you called your sister last night, maybe it wasn't that bad of a word, but you knew it would really hurt her feelings. And so you used it on purpose to do just that. Or maybe a joke you told about that kid in your class seemed okay. But when they got upset about it afterwards, you realized that it wasn't okay. And maybe the cuss word that you shouted at the opposing team, or the song lyric that you quoted on your Instagram, or the nickname that you gave a new kid at your school didn't seem all that bad on their own. But when someone heard you say it or saw you post it, you suddenly felt embarrassed. And that's because you realize that the words have power. They have the potential to harm or hurt or offend someone else. And knowing our words have power means that we recognize the impact they can have on both ourselves and others. The words we use can hurt someone else, even if they don't tell you or even if you didn't mean to. And when you say something without thinking or even meaning it, you're allowing people to have an opinion about who you are. They're forming what they think about you based on the words that they hear you say or see you use. So let's take a look at a book called James. And James is Jesus' half-brother. That means he got an up-close and personal look at the way Jesus himself lived his life. So when James wrote about the power of our words, I think that we can trust his judgment. And here's what he had to say. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a little dramatic. And well, think about the power of words here. Everybody has something to say about the words that we say. I think in order to really get his point across, James chose really dramatic language and really harsh words that would get our attention. And honestly, I think it worked. Words like fire and wickedness and hell itself really have me listening. And if you're anything like me, those words may make you a little uncomfortable. Some of you may even feel like the word hell is a cuss word. So look, I think it's safe to say that James was pretty serious about the words that he used here. But what's his point? Well, I think that James wanted us to know just how powerful our words really are. The tongue is a tiny part of the human body. It's not a part of the body that we typically even think about, even though we use it every time we speak and eat and drink. It's small and really it only stands out when we bite it on accident. But from that small, strange looking part of our body, of who we are, can come a lot of destruction. Even the smallest spark, just one word, has the potential to start a fire so big and bad that it takes over our whole lives. With just one word, we have the ability to bring destruction and devastation. If you were at our bonfire, you saw how quickly that thing lit up. And when it got going, it got hot, fast, and it burned crazy high real quickly. Fires are awesome, yet they can also be incredibly destructive. Fires reduce even the strongest structures and the most beautiful landscapes to nothing but ash and rubble. And a lot of times, that destruction causes permanent damage that we cannot undo. Look, our words matter. The stories we tell, the lies we tell, the names we call, the jokes we make, the insults we sling, the lyrics we repeat. Well, like James told us, if we're not careful, all those words that we use can turn our relationships, our reputation, our families, and our future into nothing but ash and rubble. And that's why we have to be less careless with our words. We have to be more careful. We have to pay attention to the power of our words. And how do we do that? Well, look back one more time at some wisdom from the Bible with me. In the book of Psalms, we find a lot of prayers and songs written by a guy named King David. Yes, same David and Goliath David, now turned king. And this prayer specifically is one that we can use for ourselves when it comes to our words. Take control of what I say, O Lord, and guard my lips. This is surrender. This is what it looks like to follow Jesus. Realizing there are things out of our control sometimes, and the only thing to do is simply surrender to God. Ask Him to take control. Understand His way is better than our own, and submit to Him. We still work on our language and pay attention to our words. We have to put these things into action, but it starts with a surrendered spirit so that the words that come out of our mouths aren't words that start fires. Words that turn the things and people we care about into ash and rubble. Instead, they would be words that bring light to dark places, encouragement and hope to those hurting, and that not only spread the joy of Jesus, but honors Him too by how we use our words. So look, this will be interesting. Think about your last words. Look at your last 10 text messages, or the last few comments you left on social media, or the last few songs that you listened to, or even the last several things that you've said to your close friends or family. And then ask yourself, what's the power in these words? Are they bringing on destruction, ash, and rubble? Are they hurtful? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then you need to pause. You need to ask God for forgiveness and help you in guarding your words more wisely going forward. Maybe you even need to ask for forgiveness from the person that you said the words to. Part of paying attention to the power of our words means recognizing when we're using them in ways that are hurtful to other people. So start there. And then I want you to consider what surrender looks like. What do you need to give over to God and allow Him to have control over? What does He need to help you guard so that you can better control the words coming from your mouth? Maybe that's turning off explicit lyrics on your Spotify account. Maybe that's watching your actual language and the words that you use, even if you disagree that they are cuss words. Maybe you realize that your sarcasm is actually hurting people. Maybe it's the respect or the lack of respect that you show your parents, siblings, or teachers by the way you use the words. You have the freedom to not change any of those things, but controlling your words means using your freedom in ways that are wise and honoring. So start by taking time to pray as David did in the psalm that we looked at today. Surrender to God. Allow Him to guard your mouth and control your words so that the impact will be for good. Ask Him to help you pay attention to the power of your words. Paying attention to the power of our words is something that, it takes time and practice. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's one of the benefits of having a close small group. See, we meet together each week here, and if you're home, I'd encourage you to have a conversation about what we talked about today with, a trusted small group of people that you hang out with, maybe a sibling, or even your parents. We need help turning the things that we believe into behaviors. And when you're ready to return to meeting with us on site, we'll be here for you. And until next time, I want you to think about this question. In what ways can I use my words for good? Talking about words that...
Wow, you do need to learn about words. That's really great.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Like and subscribe to this video.
Sorry. Okay, because
I'd be like, great job last week. No?
Yeah, do that. Yeah, because I did great.
You did.
All right.
Not doing great now, though.
Wow, that's really mean. And I know you're going to put this at the end of the video, and then I'll be upset. All right, here we go.